just cut.
Fall or something?
Old car accident. Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for Monday, February 23rd, 2015. I'd like to start by getting approval of our minutes from our last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Carries. Next item is public participation. Steve, do we have anybody sign in for?
We do not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, no public participation. Next item then, we'll go right into the budgets. We have 4 budgets tonight, the Planning Board, Board of Health, Recreation, and the Veterans Group. And I believe we're gonna start with Veterans, right? To get those folks in and out. So, come on up. You're welcome.
Yeah, we always say what number.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Members of the board. I'll give a quick overview. If there's questions, we have Ryan McLean, the town's veteran agent, and Alicia Redden, the town's new VSO. So, quick overview, and then I'll turn it over to, okay. Budget number 28, the veterans budget, we're requesting an increase of $1,515 over last year. There's a small increase in personal services, $95, which is contractual and negotiated increases. In contractual services, there's an increase of $1,320. The main portion of that, $1,170 is in the professional services line item, and this is to cover the salaries as part of the municipal agreement between Melrose, Wakefield, and Saugus. A small increase in materials and supplies, $100. Main expenses within this budget, under the contractual services, professional services line, $42,577, and this is the cost to be a member in the district with both Melrose and Saugus, and that's used to cover the salaries for the VSO and the veterans agent. The recipient line item, $200,000, which is used for veterans benefits. I will point out that the town does receive reimbursement from the state for this, up to 75%. We anticipate a reimbursement of approximately $135,000 in fiscal 15. Total budget request is $262,188. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ryan and Alicia.
Good evening. I just wanted to introduce Alicia Redden. She started earlier this month, has already been active in the Wakefield office. She comes to us with experience from the Hingham and Somerville offices, and also a ton of education, a master's degree in education, and is a PhD candidate, full service with the Navy. So we're very pleased to have her. She has made me try and get better so I'm not embarrassed because she works so hard. We're very happy to have her and excited that she will be helping our veterans. So,
Great, welcome.
Thank you so much.
in terms of the budget request, just wanted to give you just some highlights from our year. We saw in fiscal 14 a little under 700 veteran contacts, and we're on target for that again this year, in addition to providing the largest assistance number we have in a long time here in Wakefield, to include what I talked about last year, which is improving veteran quality of life. So it's not just a benefit check, it's also trying to improve education, employment, and different health insurance needs for our more senior veteran population. Our reimbursement rate continues to be pretty strong, thanks to Andrew and now Alicia. So we're getting a percent of that 75%, which is good. And the cherry sheet numbers that were mentioned and that you can see represent also a 6-month lag, just so you know. So although we spent a certain amount, it's really FY 13-14 and then 14-15. So it takes the state a while to give us our money back. And then some of the highlights from our Wakefield Veterans Advisory Board, who has seen this budget and agrees with it, and in principle, did the Purple Heart proclamation. You guys did that this year. We really appreciate that. That should be finalized. And the board has been very active in passing our memorial restoration fund and our veteran relief fund. You might have seen on your excise bills that tax checkoff is alive and kicking, and we've already seen donation from the generous Wakefield population. We're going to try and fundraise for that as well, and use that as an opportunity to supplement Chapter 115 and also do regular memorials, because as some of our board members can tell, not only do you have to build the memorials, but you have to keep them, and that mechanism isn't always in place. So, Alicia's been hard at work on something that's also near and dear to the board's heart. Just wanted to mention it here, which is the Civil War Memorial, which we know needs some restoration. So I'll let her present that.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. So as many of you know, the Civil War Monument is in pretty bad shape and it is in desperate need of repair and restoration. So recently we reached out to different companies across the country who specialize in granite restoration. There's only 4 that can deal in monuments this large. We picked the best one. We looked through portfolios, we got recommendations, and we reached out to Vermont Granite Works. So we have, we've been emailing back and forth with them, and they've agreed to come out and take a look at the monument and put together sort of a treatment plan on how they would like to approach either restoring it on site here, disassembling and fabricating in their office. It would cost approximately $1,200. The exact number is $1,175. With $975 due ahead of time, and with that, what we pay for the quote will be taken off of the price of restoration if we decide to move forward with it, so we're not double paying them for travel here. So
The idea here would be, we gotta figure out how much it costs, right? That's sort of the first step. We talked about the advisory board, so we're just bringing it up to you so that you're not surprised in the future, and obviously can answer any questions about that or the budget. Just kind of wanted to give a heads up on that.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
quickly. That's the very question I was gonna ask is I know last time we had spoke about that, and I know Phyllis has spoken about that. I know that monument has a lot of damage. I know that, the DPW just cleared out around that so that the accessibility will be better. As far as spending $1,200 to get an assessment from one of the top granite companies, I'm fully in favor of it. That is a centerpiece of our town, and we need to maintain it, and we need to restore it. So I'm in favor. Thank you for looking into it. Are there any federal funds available or any kind of relief we can get?
So we just reached out to this company recently, but I intend on doing some research to see if there's any grant programs out there that we can apply for. Ideally, I would love to see us put forth the $1,200 to have them come up. They'd like to come up in May when the snow clears.
Absolutely.
It's gonna take a while to get a plan together, and then once we have a final cost, we can start applying for grants, hopefully,
Yep.
to at least supplement some of the repair, so that avenue will be traveled down.
And usually they know where the grants are, right?
Yes, I fully intend on leveraging their knowledge as well. They do
Yeah.
a lot of work at a lot of the larger cemeteries. They do a lot of
Right.
mausoleums. So they have a ton of experience with memorials of this size.
Okay.
So I think that they'll be a great resource as well.
And is your $1,200 in this budget, or is it something you're asking us for in the future, or where does that come from?
Like I said, this is a heads up. something
Yeah,
that's
that it's
gonna be in
coming.
the future. It's
Yep.
not in the budget currently, no.
Yeah, it'll be very easy to get approved, so don't worry about that. So. Okay, Phyllis, go ahead.
Of course, I'm very interested in what you're doing. The Veterans Administration is very important to me. I don't think we do enough, as much as we do, as far as I'm concerned, we don't do enough. And with this $1,200 or whatever you need, I am in full favor of helping you in any way we can to get this done, because I think your administration has done a great job up to this point. I know how much work they've done and how much effort has been put into it. And the fact that we are involved with Saugus and Melrose, it's a lesser amount of money for us to do. So if we have to spend more money, I will do whatever I can to make sure it's there. I think it's just a great idea. And I appreciate the work that you people have done.
Great, thanks, Phyllis. Yeah, so let us know whenever you need that. I mean, obviously, you have a lot of support right here for that. Any ballpark idea on what the total, I mean, is it 20 grand, 200 grand? I mean, is it 2 million? I mean, do you have like even a thick thumb on where that number comes in?
You're about
All of
right.
the above?
That's the one thing that we had discussed with the woman from Vermont Granite Works was there's a lot of fabrication that needs to be done. There's limbs missing and things like that. Those are fairly low cost. However, the base of the monument is what we really need to be concerned with, because it does appear that there's some cracking. So if there's structural integrity issues, then that's going to change any projected number substantially. So they weren't comfortable even giving me an estimate, and I would hate to try to
Yeah.
put my thumb on one tonight and without knowing if there's structural damage or not.
All right, great. So you mentioned that their reimbursement money takes a few years to click through and actually come back. Is
About
it?
6 months on average.
Oh, 6 months. So what do we do with the money when it comes back? Does it go back to the town? It's not
General
reflected in your budget, so it comes back to us,
It
right?
backs to the town, general fund.
Okay, and we obviously count on that coming back as part of our overall
Yes,
budget.
correct.
It's not just gravy.
Right.
That'd be a nice way to pay for our monument, so.
No.
But, okay. All right.
Hey, can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure.
You know, this was one of the first regionalizations that the board did. We're gonna have a couple of them tonight. You know, the Board of Health is coming, and as well as the Veterans Budget. This is a great success story. We lower our operating costs, and with a budget of $262,000, $200,000 of this goes directly to the veterans. That's quite a testament to what Ryan and now Alicia do over there, and what the number of veterans we're seeing are increasing. They're really helping them to reacclimate to society. This is a great feel-good budget, and I think we finally got the number right, because we've been adding to this in the last few years, and we seem to have moved up to a good number here. But again, I've said this before, if they run over on veterans services, veterans benefits, we don't turn a veteran away.
Right.
We find a way to make it work, so
Right.
I do appreciate all the hard work they do.
Yeah. Great. Thank you guys very much. Can I get a motion to approve the veterans budget as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Tiz, second by Phyllis. All in favor? Aye. Great, budget's approved. Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
All right. Next budget, I think we'll go back to the planning board budget, number 14.
Yes, planning board, we're recommending this budget be level with main costs in this budget. Cost of the court, $3,000. The advertising line item, $2,500, which is used for posting their meetings and bylaw changes. Printing and binding, $1,500 for various reports and bylaw changes. Total budget request is $11,175.
Move approval. Second.
Moved by Pat, seconded by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next budget is Board of Health, number 26.
Budget number 26, Board of Health.
26.
We have Ruth Clay, and we also have a member from the Board of Health. Total budget request is $335. This increase breaks down, under the personal services, there's an increase of $6,233, which is contractual and negotiated increases. Under contractual services, under professional services line item, there's a decrease of $6,584 due to a reduction in cost and cost shifting with the shared agreement that we have with Melrose. There's a small increase in office supplies, $235. Small increase in memberships and dues, $88. And a small increase in the mosquito control line item, $363 or 2%. Total budget request is $191,379. With that, I'll turn it over to Ruth, if there's anything she'd like to add, or
No, we're having a good year, very busy. And as Kevin said, it's pretty much the same budget as last year. The biggest difference is that we're going back to a Melrose Wakefield agreement rather than Melrose Wakefield Reading, which is all good for Wakefield because Jen and I have more time to spend here, so.
Great. Any questions on the Board of Health budget?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Tiz, second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Keep up the good
Thank
work.
you.
You guys do a great job.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
just want to add again,
Sure.
a great success story, and guys moved too quickly on me for this one. And I got to say that, I know,
We'll stay and listen.
Ruth has really sensitized me to a lot of issues, and the pervasiveness. She's laughing because she has. And you know what the Board of Health and are doing, particularly with drug prevention and things like that. It's not just checking restaurants to make sure that the soup is hot enough. It's really going and really making a difference in the community, and I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Phyllis, go ahead.
Is the Board of Health involved in, I want to bring this up, the trash barrels removed where a dumpster has to be
Yes,
placed?
we regulate dumpsters.
Okay,
Are you talking about the changeover?
Yeah.
With the
Yes.
town to the,
Yes, and
Yes.
making
right.
multifamily.
And
Yes,
And we
yeah.
did have maybe 17, 18 places where,
right.
do you know if all of that has been, would you know if all of that has been completed?
Well, we were in the middle of doing that, and we have the list with DPW, and the deadline for the changeover happened right at the time of the beginning of the storm. So we're trying to leave DPW alone right now, so that, so that they can concentrate on the snow. And with any luck, and we don't have another storm this week or next week, I do have the list, but we need to coordinate it with them, and they've been really good at keeping us up to date on that. And we will go back and double check each one of those, so that the homeowner needs to let us know exactly if they're not using our system, they need to tell us what system they are using. And they're allowed to do something differently, but they do need to actually technically get the permission of the Board of Health. We just want to know that they're not just, that they have somewhere real
Yeah.
to put it that's legal.
Yeah.
So yes, we're all over that.
Okay, because it's important, because I know some people have already done it, and they think other people have not done it, but
Right.
at least they know that you'll follow up on that to make
We're all
sure.
over it, because if we're not, then we end up getting the dumpster complaints.
Okay.
But of course, the whole trash situation right now is everybody's doing the best they can
Right, I
with the snow
understand.
banks that we have, so.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Good?
No, good.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next one is the recreation budget.
Budget number 27, the recreation budget. We have Dan McGrath here, the town's new recreation director. I'll turn it over to him after I do a quick overview. This budget, we're requesting an increase of $30,459 over last year. This is all in personal services, and it's contractual and negotiated increases. The recreation director is part of the supervisory union. The revenues from the programs and activities, the revolving account, a portion of that going forward, starting in fiscal 16, will be deposited into the town's general fund to help offset the increase of this $30,000. The balance of the recreation budget will be funded out of that revolving account. In fiscal 14, we collected approximately $60,000 in fees for the recreation account, and we expended approximately. The total budget request is $80,459. With that, I'll turn it over to Dan to give a quick
Thanks.
overview.
Thanks, Kevin, and thank you everybody for having me tonight. As you'll see, I know Steve printed out for everybody, my proposed brochure. This is still a little bit of a work in progress. I'm doing some final edits. I have some trusted people going over my dates, times, making sure everything makes sense. So Mom is hard at work right now checking that out, and the wife is checking it out too. So just get a separate eyes on it. I think we have some good diverse programming in here. It's definitely some new stuff that Arlington hasn't had, that Wakefield hasn't had prior. Yeah, I gotta beat that. 7 years, I gotta beat that out of my brain. And I think, once we get this ball rolling, paying my salary back to the town, being a self-supporting entity, that is the ultimate goal. Problem.
That's great.
No, so,
Are you gonna have a wrestling program?
Eventually, we will have a wrestling program. Yeah, there was so many things that I wanted to do,
Yep.
but I had to condense it. I had to kind of drop down a little bit and make things a little bit more simple. But going forward, we're gonna explore every avenue we can.
That's great. Gonna get swimming at the lake?
Eventually.
I hear Arlington has that little.
They do
Yeah,
it.
we have to
It's
go on a
just-
field
We have
trip.
to
We're
on a
doing a
field
field trip this summer, for
As soon
sure.
as we give them the thumbs up to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, the Board of Health just left.
nice.
Mr.
All
Fowler.
right. Phyllis?
Could you explain why this budget has increased by $30,000?
Mostly because of my salary.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that much.
Right,
last year.
I can jump. Dan came in, halfway through the year last year, so we have to capture the whole salary this year that we didn't have last year, 'cause it came halfway through. But in reality, from the tax levy, it's gonna be the same amount, because it's gonna be covered by fees in the program coming back. And next year, I hope to come back to you with a zero budget from the tax levy, and it's all covered by the programs he's gonna bring in. And it's actually very exciting, and we're excited to have him, and I'm signing you guys all up for fencing, because there is adult
was just
fencing,
looking
and that'd be very good for the board, especially now that Chairman Falvey has to go left-handed.
Yeah.
So we can take him on.
We got a few weeks.
Okay, all right, that
But that's
explains
why,
why
because
that
it's full year,
happened.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Patrick?
On that note, similar to the veterans, the way, Phyllis is very supportive of the veterans, as we all are. I'm supportive of this in the same light. This is these are our children. These are the kids who can't necessarily, their parents can't necessarily afford to take them away, something like that. We have to keep these kids engaged, and I'd prefer to see you not raise these fees. I'd rather see the fees cut, and I'd rather it come from general fund if we have to fund this. I'm okay with that, and this is important. These kids, we're always complaining about the kids hanging around doing things. That's because there's nothing for the kids to do all summer.
Yep.
These activities are exactly what we should be doing. We should be building our youth and having some place for them to go, and so the parents, they're not hanging around the house driving the parents crazy, whatever.
And a lot of these are contracted programs, so we're bringing in outside vendors to run the programs for us. And I've worked with all of these ones before, and I told them that the prices they charged in Arlington and the prices that they charged in Reading, we cannot be charging in Wakefield. I need their absolute bare bones numbers, and then we add our percentage to it. So give me the lowest you can go, and they have been so receptive, and they work with us.
Hey, how do these work? Do you, are you on the hook to pay them to run the class? And if
So-
only 2 kids sign up and, we go negative on it? Or
Nope. So
how does it work?
So for a lot of the programs, let's take fencing, for instance.
Yeah.
Fencing will run for one kid or one person, and we're paying, we collect all the fees. 70% goes back to the fencing instructor, 30% comes back to the department. And depending on the program, we could be on an 80-20 split. Some of the smaller programs, fencing's gonna be a big
But
program.
we don't go negative. If we don't,
We-
we don't,
we're
we
not-
don't tell
we're
this
not gonna
guy,
run
I'll
it.
give you $1,000 to
Nope.
run the course,
Nope.
and then we get
Nope.
$300 in fees.
No, we have bottom line of, this is what we have to do to run the class.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm one kid off, if there's 7 people signed up and I need 8,
Yeah.
all right, let's renegotiate our split.
Yeah.
So I want you to run that class. I don't want to cancel programs.
Right,
It looks
right.
bad on the department. It's realistic to do it. But if we're close, we beg, borrow, and we do whatever we can to make sure that program runs. Or
That's
we
great.
find another program that will work for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Any other questions? We good?
Good job.
Thank you.
Get a motion to approve the recreation budget. Moved by Pat, second by Tiz. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
Great job. What a nice start for you.
Thank you.
Good job. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right. Now we're on to the hard stuff. Request from Sharon Gilly for the library to accept a gift of $341 and spend it with thanks.
Second.
Moved by Tiz, second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Next one is the Youth Health and Safety Guide sponsorship form. Steve, do you wanna?
Yeah, I can give you a little bit on that. This is actually a challenge from the police chief. Through our Board of Health and through Catherine Dinger, who is our Wakefield Youth Health and Safety Agent, she's running these awareness programs for parents and for kids regarding substance abuse. And they actually put out a very good guide. Things to look at about prom, things to look at about teen driving and things like that, that goes out to the parents and what have you. And tips about how to look for signs of any of these abuses and to stop them. Also talk about healthy eating and what have you. I would like to see if the Board of Selectmen would like to, as the Board of Selectmen, through in our budget that we have here, sponsor a page in that, a half page, for $250. I thought it was important to bring that to the board. It's within our budget, we have money in our budget to do this anyway. I think it'd be a nice sentiment for us to go forward, how much we stand by, trying to make this as the best. So that's why.
And this is run by you said the police chief?
No, he challenged me to
Oh,
do
he
it.
challenged
He
you to do it.
challenged me
Okay,
to
I'm
do it,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Because he works very closely through his prevention programs with the substance abuse program.
I mean, I'd be in favor of doing the full page ad, right? Is that,
Yeah, whatever you
I
like.
think that'd be a nice touch by the board of selectmen. I agree.
I'll make the motion that we go to the $500 sponsorship ad for the, from the Board of Selectmen.
Moved by Paul, second by Tiz, all in favor
Aye.
of buying the ad?
Aye.
Unanimous? Great.
Thank you.
No, it sounds great, Steve. Thank you for giving us that opportunity, and we're happy to do it, so,
Thank you.
great. All right, a request from Jay Garden at 39 Tuttle Street for a common victular license.
We do have the owners here.
Oh,
Mr.
great.
Chairman?
Yeah, come on up. Come on up.
Okay.
All right.
Good evening.
Good. Just state your names and
Yes, my
who
name
you are, whether you're attorney or owner, or,
Yeah, my name is Wage. I'm an attorney for my clients, Mr. Zhu and Mr. Zhen, and they are the two shareholders of this new corporation. Basically, it's gonna straightforward assets acquisition from the current owner of the restaurant. So they are going to, there'll be no renovation to be done, and operating hour is gonna be little change. They're gonna close a little earlier than they are doing right now. And the closing will take place once we have this done and the Board of Health does its inspection, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And Mr. Zhu and Mr. Chen are currently also working the restaurant. Mr. Zheng, I believe, works in North Reading, Mannion Reading, I believe, Sherry, you frequented.
I was just there the other day.
in the bar or food?
I just heard from them.
Who did you hear it from?
Cat's out of the bag
Thought that
now.
was a rule of hospitality. That's great. All right, go ahead. This is off to a bad start.
And Mr. Zhu already works in the Chinese restaurant in Charlestown, and they're gonna start this new venture.
Great.
Just as, they are, by the way, they were kindergarten friends.
Oh, really?
Over there in China, and they've been together all these years, so they want to do it together.
That's great.
So if you have any questions,
No, we can't say no.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions, thoughts? You good?
Thank you for choosing Wakefield.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you. Keep us posted on when you're opening and all that stuff, or when you're taking over, or whatever you're doing. And we'll have to show up
Chairman,
with
I
things.
move approval.
Second?
All right, moved by Pat, second by Paul. All in favor of approving?
Aye.
Great. Congratulations, good luck. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
Hold right into this.
Next is a request from St. Florence Parish for a one-day liquor license on March 21st, 2015 for their St. Patrick's Dinner and Dance to be held in the church hall.
Second.
Moved by Phyllis, second by Paul. All in favor? Aye.
Waiving the fee.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I do want to thank them for getting their request in so timely.
That's because neither Pat nor I are in charge anymore.
That's right.
They can request whenever they want.
Yeah. Yeah, we needed approval of that dance that happened 3 days ago. Kidding. All right, so next one. Events Planning Committee for a one-day liquor license on March 22nd at the West Side Social Club from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m.
Why
Phyllis.
Why do we need a license? What, is there some kind of an event, or is it just a meeting? I
I'm
don't
assuming
understand.
it's St. Patrick's Day.
Is it, they're gonna serve liquor at a meeting from
The-
10 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
You're gonna be there, that's the best part. Let's do
There
this.
you go. The Event Planning Committee is holding their Just Jazz event for the Irish Festival on that day at the West Side Social Club. And the West Side Social Club only has a liquor license permit from 12 noon on Sundays because of the blue laws. So we're asking for an extension of that to 10 o'clock because the event starts at 9:30. So it's just getting them to be able to serve alcohol earlier in the day than they're legally able to with their own license.
Is this, maybe I don't get it, but is there, what is this event? Is it St. Patrick's Day
St. Patrick's
or
Day.
something?
St. Patrick's Day.
It's the St. Patrick's Day event.
And they're doing that?
It's a brunch.
Oh,
It's a brunch.
all right.
You'll have to come this year. Gerard Lehman is the co-MC of the just part of this. Anyway,
It sounds like, if you've got to be honest, sounds like the committee just wants to have a party and have liquor.
Well,
That's what
well,
this
they
thing
do,
is.
and unfortunately, St. Patrick's Day came along,
that's right. There you go.
made it sound okay.
You're invited to the party, so.
Thank you.
Now you are.
So moved.
Phyllis has moved to approve the liquor license. Is there a second? I hope we can get one. All right, one from Pat.
From St. Patrick, yeah.
Yes.
Favor. Aye.
Aye.
All right, it passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. I believe that is it, and now we shall go around our tables, plural. Start with,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to tell the board about a memo I'm working on, which I hope to have to you before your next meeting. As you know, the town clerk released Steve Mayo's April 3rd memo of last year, which has been said to have been so nasty and bullying that it caused her physical distress and caused her to stay out of work ever since. I thought that its release in the newspaper would resolve any controversy because it was so self-evidently not nasty or bullying. But I've been surprised and disappointed to see in the press statements that are outright misrepresentations that I cannot leave unchallenged. And they are of two kinds. First, there's been a suggestion that the town clerk's office actually was no more troubled by grievances than any other, and that all those grievances were resolved favorably to the town. I wish that were the case. Second, another in a letter to the editor said that anyone who filed a grievance must have been an appointee of Steve's who was acting at his behest to undermine the town clerk. That's not just bizarrely conspiratorial, it's also completely untrue. Let me just briefly
Please.
go over both of those points. First, the first one, since 2005, there were 4 employees in that very small town clerk's office who brought grievances against their boss, and 1 who brought a discrimination claim against her boss at the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination. So that's a total of 5 claims, or rather claimants, individual persons. The MCAD complaint, which claimed denial of reasonable accommodation of a handicap and retaliatory discharge, cost the town $15,000 to settle. Now, I concede 2/3 of that was paid by an insurance company. Outlay was $15,000.
the underlying claim was not unfounded, is the implication of that.
We do not settle unfounded claims. 2 of the grievances were resolved, and I don't mean to suggest that I'm crediting that claim either, but it was a claim that it made sense to try to resolve through settlement. 2 of the grievances were resolved with letters from the town clerk that I would call letters of apology. Basically, I'm sorry that you thought I was X, when in fact I was not. 1 was resolved by reversing a policy of the town clerk who had forbidden her employees from putting up lawn signs on their own property on their own time. Now this is, and in 1 grievance, the town clerk actually fired the town's labor council, who had been trying to represent her. Now this is not a record of peaceful labor relations, nor is it a record of success in litigation. And it was the reason why this board not to spend public money defending any more grievances that were brought in against the town clerk's office. And that was part of what this supposedly nasty memo expressed. As for the suggestion that Steve Mayo appointed his people to undermine the town clerk, of those 5 individuals who brought work-related claims, the 4 grievances and the 1 MCAD complaint, Steve promoted 1 and appointed 1 other. The one he promoted had been singled out by the town clerk in writing as a, quote, excellent employee, and the one he appointed was upon the written recommendation of the town clerk. And the other three, Mr. Mayo had nothing to do with their appointment or promotion. So you'll get more of this and in greater detail to the extent that I can express it without violating the confidentiality rights of the employees in question. And those grievances are before me now. I mean, they're fairly substantial in volume. But I want to let you know what's coming. And I did not want to let what I regard as harmful misrepresentations stand unanswered.
Great. Appreciate the update. I think there's been a lot of misinformation thrown about in the newspaper, as is often the case. Unfortunately, that sells newspapers, and so it keeps the whole thing, keeps that whole wheel moving. But you know, thanks for setting the record straight. There's nothing better than just straight up facts from a credible source to hopefully put things to bed and give people a sense for where the truth lies. So, any other comments around the table? We good? Anything else on that?
No, thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we have a memo here from the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, right? AFL-CIO union. Does everybody have a copy of that? Or is that going into the newspaper? Or maybe I'll just read it real quick so people, it's from the members of the Town of Wakefield Clerical Union. It's addressed to this board and Steve Mayo as town administrator. Briefly, it says, the members of the Town of Wakefield Clerical Union would like to express our support for those union members, past and present, who have formally and informally filed harassment grievances only to find that our weak contract language did not offer any protection or corrective action. We'd like to thank the Board of Selectmen and Steve Mayo for the April 3rd, 2014 memo, acknowledging a documented history of grievances and offering our members protection when our contract did not. As we are currently in negotiations, we are seeking to add language to our contract that would make any future harassment grievances viable in the arbitration process. We hope we can count on your continued support for this change in contract. Sincerely, the members of the Town of Wakefield Clerical Union. So, just an interesting memo from them to kind of round out the subject. All right. Anything else, Mr. Mullen? You good?
Nope.
All right. Okay, great. Thanks. Steve?
Thank you, members of the board. Two very quick things. You may have noticed that I posted a suggestion on our town Facebook page, and a little, kind of a little video about what we might think about doing with the gas and light building, and the old gas and light building on Albion Street. And this reached over 5,000 people. And of that, close to 2,000 people engaged, which means they actually clicked on it and looked at it for a while, and close to 200 have responded. So as we're talking about what we're going to do with this building, I thought it was good to get some information, get some input out there from the community, and we'll be bringing back something along with grant possibilities and things like that. But I know the board was interested. We went and looked at it. I think that Selectman Glenn and Denoco and I went in there, and with our DPW director, and it does present some opportunities for the town, so we are looking forward to coming forward on that. But this is a very good use of social media. I gotta say that we did get a lot of input, so that does seem to be working, and I know Selectman Denoco loves these numbers, but we're up to 3,800 likes, maybe close to 39.
That's very good.
I know that he likes that.
That's very good.
So, thank you very much. The last thing that I have this evening is that as we're going through the budget processes on our side, and the school department is going through theirs, and they have some public forums and things like that. And I have been very impressed with this superintendent, and particularly his vision for going forward. And we've been working with him on his budget. And I think he's looking for a big investment in education in this town. Talk about all-day kindergarten and some other things like that. Because that is happening, I've been working with him and the Finance Committee to see about how this is going to affect our overall stability as a community going forward. And I also have a memo going to the board to kind of talk about that, so you guys are, although we don't approve their budget by any sense of the form, they do present it to us, and I do want our board to be as up to speed as well. I will say this, is that what I'm looking at is that maintaining all the things that we've worked hard over the last few years, funding OPEB, funding capital, funding, making sure we have adequate reserves, all the things we've worked with, putting more money into roads, which we have been increasing, what Chapter 90 is giving us. Working together with the Finance Committee, we're looking to find a way to make this work, not just for this year, but really fiscal years, 5 fiscal years forward, to see that overall affects the town. So we're working on that. You're gonna hear more about that, but I did want to just put my oar in the water early on. And thank you to town council as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Phyllis?
I only want to mention one thing. I think that this town and the DPW has done a tremendous job of what it's done with this horrible winter, the snow, the removal. I've probably had 2 complaints, and the way I respond to them is, you have nothing to complain about after what the work that these people have done, the hours that they've put in. I know some of the men, they've worked hours to remove that, so. And as you walk down our streets now, they've just done a great job. And if you go to some other towns, which I've been through, to Malden and Saugus and some of the, Woburn, you would begin to appreciate how hard the people have worked here, the DPW has done. Really tremendous, and we should really be proud of that. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Phyllis. Appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, just a couple of things that I'd like to tie into discussions from tonight's meeting. Steve, when we do deal with the veteran services, he mentioned they was trying to do some sort of fundraising to offset the cost of these things, and then looking for grants. With the Main Street program, we captured all of Main Street down to Salem Street, so that would cover that statue, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it
So
would.
if there's grants available through the Main Street side of this as well, maybe that's something for the young lady to look into in regards to additional grants, to see if there's any money there.
Great, thank you.
So I think that'd be a worthwhile approach to possibly get more money for the Civil War Memorial. Other than that, everybody to a small reception tomorrow, if you can make it, all well and good. Other than that, I echo Phyllis's sentiment on the DPW. They have done a fabulous job. I've heard nothing but praise from the merchants and people who frequent the downtown on how clear it is and how easily accessible it is right now. So it's great job. So other than that, that's all I have at the moment.
Thanks, Paul. Patrick?
Yeah, I will echo that as well, and I think that the drivers that I've encountered, the roads, our roads are wider, they're cleaner, they're better, and the people, the plow drivers I saw were very courteous and did a great job. Couple of things. I'm running my 4th Boston Marathon this year. I'm running for the Liver Foundation again, having an event in Melrose. I have a patient match family from Melrose, and it's March the 12th, Thursday, March the 12th, at AbFab, absolutely fabulous. The family's all from Melrose. It's a great event, and everyone's welcome. If you'd like to make a donation online, it's goliver.org, and run for research. And you can search my name and make a donation. It's for a great cause. And then one other thing that I think that the DPW and the police department proved is that our reverse 911 and notification via Facebook and so forth about off-street parking, that system works. I think the law in place that says if it's not snowing and it's not going to snow for the next 5 days, tell people that they can't park on the street is kind of ridiculous. It's an old law, probably formed when there were a lot of one-car families. I think it's time to do away with that law and let people park on the street if, we talked about this last year, and I know the board, and I think Rick needed a little arm twisting, but I think Rick would agree now that this system works. If it's snowing out, don't park on the street, or if there's a storm or an emergency of some kind. So that's all I have.
With that 911, reverse 911, if I can jump in, we towed a handful of cars, very few. So it does, and Rick is moving towards agreement Might be a good way to think about it.
Yeah, yeah, so.
Great. Thanks, Pat. Tiz?
Good.
You good? I was going to talk about the snow too, and you've all stolen my thunder, but with that, one thing I wanted to talk about on that is, Steve, where are we, just an idea of, budget, it's a, where, the effect on our budget, given the amount of snow in the short period of time, the ability to get, FEMA money, get reimbursed, where do we stand on kind of those kind of things?
Well, this board, Finance Committee have approved a snow and ice overdraft so far of $800,000. I think we've spent all of that and maybe more. I don't have the numbers in from this weekend, but that would also include the clearing of the roofs of all our public buildings and what have you. Where we stand on reimbursement, however, is that Governor Baker was at the governor's conference and did talk to FEMA and to actually the president. And FEMA's kind of way of looking at these events is that if there's a single isolated event and there's a catastrophe, then they should come in and give some money. The pitch that was made, and that seems to be accepted, is that you have a 30-day period in Massachusetts where you had almost 100 inches of snow, about 94 inches in 30 days. So it's not one event, it was a series of events that tipped things over. So I think they're very open to that. One of the figures, a reimbursement of 75% of the money that we've spent on snow and ice, that would be great. I'm not holding out for that at all. But I did speak with Representative Wong today, and I've spoken with Representative Broder as well, and they are going in for a supplemental appropriation for the cities and towns, because this is pervasive, whether you're in Saugus, Wakefield, Reading, Melrose, or Worcester, or city of Boston. I think the Boston is 35 million over, I think I read, on their budget for snow. This is really a tough issue for every city and town to handle. So I know that we're looking at it. We're looking at everything we can. We have all our paperwork in order for FEMA, which we do that anyway. So I'm hopeful that we'll get something, but I'm also very happy that what this board has done over the years is that we've increased the snow and ice budget in years to say, even in lean years of snow, I should say, where it's better to budget that way, in my opinion, and I think in this board's opinion, and I think in the Finance Committee's opinion. The other thing that we learn from these things too, and in looking at the roofs of our public building, one thing that I've been talking about with our DPW director and with our building inspector about is that we need to have a better long-range plan for these items and maybe the order of how we look at our buildings. And what we're looking to do is actually, taking the plans and bringing a structural engineer to look at it and say, what, if there's 5 feet of snow, don't worry about X building the way it's built. If there's 4, worry about these. So we can kind of have a little bit of a, maybe a little better planning in place.
Yep.
But I tell you, I share what everybody has said. These people have done, working around the clock and making this as safe as we can. I've had a handful of people that aren't happy, and I get it, because I'm not happy either when the plow goes by. I'm not happy that I have mounds around my house.
Mother Nature doesn't have a phone, so call Steve.
That's right. But a lot of people have sent some nice emails in. I've shared them with the board, and really congratulating these town employees, not only the ones that are out in the plows, but some of the people back answering the phone and calming people down and getting people out there. They've done a great job. So, we're on it. We're always looking to improve how we do things, and I've even talked to some of the contractors, private contractors, to say, what, when this all settles, should we be doing things a better way? And actually, I'm in some of those coffee shops at 6, 7 in the morning, and I hear from the contractors. And it's good for us to better. Long answer to your question, Mr. Chairman. But I think they've done a great job, and they're climbing ladders. They're up on the roofs. I'm up there. We're going to make sure that the drains are all marked, and all those things are cleaned off. So it's been a good job.
I know FEMA, I believe FEMA works on not the fact that you had an incident, but damage is always
Right.
a big aspect of there,
Yeah.
so, I think I mentioned this to you, take a
Right.
look at
Yeah.
the roads. I
Yeah.
think the roads are gonna get particularly damaged as a result of
They're gonna get a little
all
worse,
this
too.
precipitation and then the resultant thawing and freezing. There's potholes everywhere.
Everywhere now.
There's gotta be
And
some
we
kinda
have had the
unique
guys
claim
out
there.
a couple of days, filling in some of the potholes, but you know what, then it snows.
Good
and
luck,
then
yeah.
For 3 days, but we'll be
Right.
getting back to that. It is rough everywhere.
Yeah, great, thank you. Again, I'll just echo everybody else. Great job, town looks great. We're back in business. I think other places, you know, kudos to everybody again for a great job, great planning. And I love in the middle of a success that you're still looking for opportunities to improve. So that's always a good sign, so.
One thing we'd like to, is Restaurant Week is before we meet again.
March 2nd to
March
8th.
2nd to 8th. There is a Restaurant Week in Wakefield, and we're, go to the Chamber of Commerce and look at your local, I know there's gonna be a joke here too.
Don't say
Mr.
anything.
Chairman, don't say anything, but I think really, what has hurt.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, yes. What has hurt some of the local businesses is the snow.
Yes.
I mean, it's been tough for people to get out there, although I do my best, I can't handle it all on my own. So I'm telling you, apparently Sherry's picking up some of the slack at the Chinese restaurant.
In
but-
Reading.
In Reading, no.
Currently, there's 8 restaurants or eateries involved,
So it is, and it's actually on the billboard on 128 Wakefield Restaurant Week, so hopefully we'll bring in some
Great.
people. And it's, you know, what we've decided as a board, or what you guys have decided as a board, to use a lot of that meals tax for is to put it into the roads.
Yep.
And that's kind of been covering a lot of that extra money, so.
Great, thanks. I think we're at the end of our agenda unless there's, anybody have any more motions to make?
Motion to adjourn?
Moved
Second.
by Pat, second by Tiz, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much, have a good night.